Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking the video. It means a lot to you guys. Keep clicking. If you keep all keep making. And today, we're talking about episode 11, where we're going to recap everything that happened. This is one of the better episodes, I think, of this post-merge. I think we saw a pretty good episode with Ellie's boot, and this is up there for like maybe the second or even possibly the first best episode of this season. A very good episode. The edit was just much better compared to last episode where we didn't really know what was going on and the blindside wasn't as epic as it could be. This blindside was a lot more epic. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. Okay, so we open the episode up with Owen on the bottom. What's new? He's literally on the bottom every single vote. He's telling us that he just can't trust anybody and he got played again, and that's so humiliating and sad to play the game on the bottom constantly and never really be able to trust any person. Sami was also on the bottom of this vote. He votes for Carla here alongside Owen, while every other person votes for the person who actually goes home in Noelle. So to me, they're both in a pretty bad spot coming into this episode. And as we'll see, one person kind of gets back on their feet and the other one plays himself out of the game. We see Owen at first try to lie about voting for Carla to Carla and the entire tribe's face, but after a while, he just admits it and says, okay, fine, I did, I'm sorry. And Carla's not happy at all. On top of that, we also see that the vote kind of puts him in hot water because people like Carla, Cassie, and Jesse thought that he was working with them. And so for him to try and flip on Carla is not good. And then on top of that, Gabler is trying to make Owen feel comfortable by suggesting that he has a long-term plan to get them both to the final three. Gabler's convinced that he's, like, quote, hiding in plain sight as the biggest threat in the game. So he is thinking highly of his game. He thinks if he gets to the end, he wins. The next morning, Sami tries to salvage his relationship with Carla, but by throwing Cassie under the bus with a lie. He told Carla that Cassidy was the first one to throw her name out as an option, calling into question for Carla, one of her really strongest allies in the game. And in a private convo, Carla reaffirms this with Cassidy, where Cassidy basically, like, tells her, oh, it's gonna be so good to have two, like, females at the end. Oh my god, like, I'm so excited. And she just stares off into space and she says, yeah. So she's definitely like curious about Cassidy's loyalty. She's also worried because she told Cassidy, as we see in a flashback of this episode, that she has an idol. So Cassidy knows this and could tell others. So she is trying to get Cassidy out at this point. Then after this, we see a sunrise moment, which is kind of like beautiful. They basically show the players looking at the sunrise, and this is interrupted by the arrival of a boat. Kind of a nice metaphor for this new era, right? You have beautiful things happening, and the production kind of steps in the middle of it and ruins it. On the boat is a message, basically just saying that there's 7 people left in the game, and that there's an advantage on the island, and so they all just run off, they search, and when I say they all passed this advantage, like, they've like done this in the past with the montages, but when I say 5 people walked right past it with it in eye view, it was the most ridiculous addition of this that I've seen on the show. These people are absolute bricks. Either that or they just edited it in that way, like the camera angle wasn't as close as it was because the camera was just zooming in on it and then like panning to the player, and the player's just sitting there like, damn, man, like, I feel like I should just give up looking. Like, it's just, oh my god, it was so stupid. But eventually Cody finds it. He finds it while Gabler is talking to him, and he kind of has to play it off until Gabler leaves. Cody claims the advantage, reads it, and it basically says that Cody earned the power to bet on a player at the immunity challenge, which is the claustrophobia one with the water sinking in and you're trying to go breathe through the gate, and it's a very fun challenge to watch. And so I like that they did this twist for this challenge. I still don't like this twist overall, but that's for a different video. Cody bets on Owen to win, and at the challenge we see Carla and Owen both win. So I'll try to explain this the best I can. So for those who have seen this, you know that the tide rises naturally and then kind of sinks down after a few hours. Now usually this challenge ends in like a half an hour, right? But they stayed on for 3 hours to the point where the tide had gone back down and it wasn't going to come back up for 6 or 8 more hours. So they called the challenge, gave Carla and Owen both immunity, plus now Cody has his necklace. So it's very, very interesting. The players don't know that Cody is safe, but Cody's not targeted because they don't want to risk it. And so it's a very interesting twist. I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but it could be worse. Now that 3 players basically have an immunity, it's just down to Sami, Cassidy, Gabler, or Jesse. Owen and Cassidy option that Sami was the easiest vote that everyone can get on board with, but Cassidy was worried that people would go for her in order to take a strike against Carla, which is kind of ironic because little did Cassidy know Carla was seriously considering, doing a blindside on her, because again, she had the knowledge of her idol. And so the news that Carla was suggesting, a Cassidy vote did not sit well with Jesse because it meant that Carla must have a strong, connections in the game. Meanwhile, the news that Carla, of all people, was suggesting a Cassidy blindside did not sit well with Jesse because it meant that Carla had strong connections left in the game besides Cassidy. So big threat. Jesse thought that maybe Carla is tight with Sami, and so he wanted to turn the vote back to Sami at the same time that everyone else seemed poised to go with the Cassidy vote. Jesse added the plan, and they allowed Carla to still vote Cassidy, so it drives a wedge between those two girls. Great gameplay. Again, the edit does not focus on Jesse here, though. This is the only scene that we really get with Jesse. Like, he doesn't get credit for this move in the end. It's mostly Carla. When Jesse took the plan to Cody, they disagreed. Cody wanted to get out Cassidy because Cassidy and Carla are close, and it's just that simple. And so it was iffy. At Tribal Council, of course, we know now that Sami was in big trouble. And so Sami was very open about his position at the bottom of the game and that he's a free agent that they could use in future votes. Jeff agreed that it's a good pitch, but when Sami kind of put his foot in his mouth was when he asserted that he had plans to sacrifice his vote in order to play his shot in the dark advantage. Carla was not pleased with this, but as we'll learn later, it was the right move by him. And so he plays it. He is not safe. So this is now the 6th time that someone has played a shot in the dark and not been safe. I still think it's a great twist, and I think it's very balanced. Sami goes in a unanimous 5-0 vote, and that is how this episode ends. Guys, if you haven't already, go to check out the live recap show that I did with my friends yesterday right after the episode ends. We actually went through a bunch of scenarios for Final Tribal. It was a very fun stream. And then on top of that, guys, look up Survivor Spencer and I should be there. If that's what, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.